Okay, I am joined with Lindsay Wellhoefer, and she is the author of the book Awaken. Lindsay, tell me a little bit about yourself, but also about your book.
So, yes, my name is Lindsay Wellhoefer. I am from a suburb just outside of Houston, Texas. I have two beautiful daughters and a loving husband. My book, though, it's called Awaken, A Soul-Quenching Journey from Devastation to Deliverance, is about my rebellion leading up from late adolescence through early adulthood and how that took me through assault, being assaulted, going through an abusive relationship, ultimately winding up in divorce. I truly believe that I was closer to God then than I've ever been. It felt like he was a step ahead of me, and I know he always is, but to feel it and to see it right there in action was really part of my journey, and to know that he does really guide our steps, because I really felt that if I didn't get out of that abusive relationship, that I wouldn't be here today to tell my story and to hopefully help other people out of abusive situations, or even just to learn how to hear God nudging them in their heart to what he's calling them to do, and know that it's him, and and they can take that step of faith and go through that next open door.
Was it difficult, because it's such a personal subject matter for you? Was it difficult to kind of put it out there in the world for the world to read? And what was your thought process behind it all?
It was difficult to put it out there. I would say there's more fear associated now that it is out. I really had to rely on God and say, you know what? If the people from my past, there's only a couple, names were changed to protect them and everything like that. But if they do come across it, that I just wanted God's protection over me and my family and them. But I would say writing it, I had to kind of relive it. But I felt like, okay, it stayed in my mind. And I think that part of healing from it was being able to just write it and get it all out there, because I felt God for years telling me, you need to write a book, you need to write this down, and until I finally did it, I felt like I had to hold on to all of it. So as I was able to put it on the written page and let it go, that's when I would say the majority of the healing took place.
That's awesome. Did you have anyone in mind when you were writing it? Were you thinking, man, this is the type of person that I hope finds this book and here's my message?
So I did. When I was reading it, when I was writing it, I was thinking, for some reason in my mind's eye, it was women that had gone through either abusive relationships or were still kind of trapped in an abusive marriage or relationship and didn't know how to get out, because there are steps you need to take to get out safely. And I didn't know until I kind of had to do it one by one by myself through trial and error. But also, people that were just kind of lost and looking for God's guidance. And, I'd heard people say, how do I know if this is God nudging me or if this is the enemy? And, your calling will never contradict God's word, and that's kind of the biggest area, but also just to get deep in prayer and to really hear him and know how to feel that nudging and trusting that it's him that's calling you, and to take those steps.
Well, your book is, you're writing about a lot of really dark times in your life, and then you have to send that off to somebody to read and edit and publish and all of that stuff. How was it working with Christian Faith Publishing, writing your book?
Being my first time to write anything and send it off to an editor or anything, and to a publisher, I didn't know what I was getting into. And Christian Faith Publishing and everyone there, Christy was one of the people I dealt with at the end, and through a lot of the editing process, they were so welcoming and so complimentary and encouraging, and they were constantly just, this is your story. They wanted to get my story, and they wanted it to be God's word coming through. They didn't want to taint it in any way and put their own spin on it. They really want to capture your story. And that was very refreshing.
That's so cool. What was it like when you actually got your book and you were able to see it?
It was very exciting. Once I got the book and I was able to kind of read through it and see it from, notes that I had and scratch paper and everything, and a line drawn through, editing and all this stuff. And then you see this finished product, and it's just a beautiful work of art. And you think, okay, God, take these words from this book, and I pray that, if there's something I put in there that, you did not want in there, I pray that it falls away from people's ears and they don't hear it. Just speak to them through this book what you want them to hear.
I love that. That's such a powerful message. And I'm so glad that you have written this book, because I know there's so many women and out there that can just benefit so much from hearing it. And I just hope the right people get it in their hands. Again, the book is called Awaken, a soul-quenching journey from devastation to deliverance. And the author is Lindsay Wellhoefer. Lindsay, thank you so much for doing this with me and talking with me about your book. It's available in all places where books are sold, online, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, everywhere else. And thank you so much. I really appreciated sitting with you.
Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.